Hey everybody, just wanted to hop on here again and give you some pain, some tips, not some pain, give you some tips to get out of pain and enjoy your running. Yep, so today we're going to talk about the sural nerve, and I actually like to talk about the nerves a lot because they end up being pain generators for so many problems that we end up having. They end up being an issue. Not many people are looking at them, and not many people are even considering that they can be pain generators all on their own. And so I would just want to offer you some more value on trying to self-assess and self-treat, some tips to get ahead of your pain points. And the sural nerve ends up running down along the outside of your Achilles tendon. It runs along the outside of your heel and down the outside of your foot and ankle, almost along the top and along the top of your fifth toe. Anyway, it's something that generally gets irritated after a sprained ankle. It'll get irritated after a sprained ankle. Hey, Martin and Kevin, Tim, thanks for hopping on, guys. So it's something that ends up being a pain generator after we maybe sprain our ankle, and we could be just simply doing a trail run, just enjoying the trails and the beauty in the morning or evening or whatever. And, sometimes just tweak our foot just a little bit and not really think it's that big of a deal. And then all of a sudden you have this irritation along the outside of your foot, along the outside of your heel, and, maybe even on the outside of your Achilles tendon. And sometimes the Achilles tendon ends up being what is thought to be the pain generator, but it's, sometimes it's not. It's that sural nerve that goes along the outside of the Achilles tendon. If you look it up, S-U-R-A-L, sural nerve, it ends up being a notable kind of a pain generator and just won't go away. Not a whole lot of people know about it. Not a whole lot of physicians look at this stuff. And I got to tell you, in the clinic, I end up diagnosing this kind of stuff all the time. It's the nerves all on their own become pain generators all the time. It's not every single case, but man, I tell you, I see it across the board. So what nerves like? The best way to treat them and to self-treat them, to help out yourself, is to simply, wherever the nerve lies and how it goes around the outside of the ankle or knee or wherever, it likes to be on slack about every time. Really about every time. It likes to be on slack and it likes to have space. To a point. Hey everybody, we got Philip hopping on, we got Daman hopping on, and that could be Raya standing in for Laura. Hey man, good to see you, buddy. Anyways, so the sural nerve ends up being a pain generator a lot when it comes to the outside and back of the heel, or the heel, the back of this Achilles tendon on the outside. And let me just show you on my foot. Hey Chris, thanks for hopping on, man. Let's see if I might just, let me just show you this way. I'm gonna be ending up over here anyway, so might as well do it now. So yeah, so let me hold on to the table there. Okay, so Achilles tendon right there. The sural nerve goes right along the outside of that thing, down around the outside of your heel, and down this way to the outside of your top and outside of your foot. it ends up being a pain generator, just simply, and sometimes, get her out of that light. Sometimes just simply after an ankle sprain, and it seems like a pretty benign kind of an ankle sprain, not a big deal. And it ends up hanging around. So actually, I had a dialogue with a gal that was on this thing on one of the lives, and I think I don't know, I might have seen her in a group, but she asked about, and she pointed with her finger where it was painful, and there's really nothing there, but your heel, your skin, and that nerve, your sural nerve along the outside of your heel. So I thought, well, you know what? Let me just, chime in and give her some advice. So I just said, you really just consider walking around in something that has a little bit of a wedge to it. She's a girl, so, wedge shoes, are helpful for this thing. And wear the wedge shoes, simply, all day long for, at least a week or so. Because that nerve, as it goes down around the outside of your heel and around the outside of your ankle, it likes to be on slack. It feels better. Nerves, when they're irritated, they like slack and they like space. So even open-toed, wedge-shaped, or open-heeled, however you want to say it, open-heeled and open-toed wedge kind of shoes. And for guys, obviously we're not going to be wearing stuff like that. We're going to be wearing other stuff, but stuff that's not tight, stuff that, and not tight around the heel or tight around the outside of the foot, or even tight around the Achilles tendon. You don't want that. Not for this thing. Something that's relatively, forgiving, not real loose, but something that's kind of forgiving, and something that, if walk around in a wedged shoe isn't something a guy would do often, but so sometimes just walking around, making sure you have a good bit of time in a shoe with a little bit of a, maybe a quarter of an inch or a half an inch of a heel lift, probably on both sides. It's going to be the better thing to do. And just spending most of your time, if not all your time, for a number of weeks in that kind of a shoe. Not running in that kind of a shoe, obviously, because that brings on all kinds of other problems. But every day, whenever you're walking around or whenever you're standing, spend time in a shoe that's like that, because this thing likes to be on slack. It likes to have some space, and it likes that for a long time. It's what generally makes these things heal. I mean, and it's across the board, man. It's like, in the knee, you have nerves in the back of the knee, outside of the knee, inside of the knee, in the front a little bit too. You have your sciatic nerve in the back of your hip and the back of your thigh. And so, there's the nerves, and if you look at your thumb, that's the size of your sciatic nerve. It's not small. It's a big thing. So it can be a pain generator pretty easy, and often enough for tight hamstrings. It ends up generally being the sciatic nerve just being kicking off a little bit and being a pain generator. So that's kind of the sural nerve in a nutshell. Let me see if I hit everything I wanted to out of that. Old sprained ankle or a recent sprained ankle, or even if you just hit the trails for the first time in a while and you feel pain on the outside of your heel, outside of your foot, and on the outside of your Achilles tendon, and you're like, what in the world did I do to have that pain? What is that? And so you start massaging it. Nerves don't like that. Generally, they really kind of don't like the pressure. They like space. And sometimes if you have a sit-down job after you irritate any kind of nerve, just as a local pain generator, if you have a sit-down job, like I said, your sciatic nerve, it's the size of your thumb, it's not hard to easily irritate that thing farther up the chain. And then for the place that is really the local irritation at the heel can just be slightly more easily irritable because you irritate it just a little bit, the massive conduit of the entire lower extremity nearly, just by sitting on your sciatic nerve for most of the day. If you have a pain at your knee or pain at your foot and ankle, or lower leg, particularly the calf, there's another thing, if you have like these tight calves, chances are it's a tibial nerve, and that sural nerve comes right off as a branch coming off the tibial nerve, going down the outside of your Achilles tendon, and the outside of your heel along the outside of your foot. And then it kind of just disappears around the ball of your outside, your fifth, the outside of your pinky toe. Anyway, I hope that helps. Really, the how you self-assess this thing, put pressure on it where it's irritated, or just maybe a little bit closer, right? So say it hurts around your Achilles tendon, and let me kind of gauge this for you guys, make it a little bit easier. Just go down on the floor here. Anyway, let me see here. So it kind of goes along the outside of your calf, down around the outside of your heel, outside of behind your ankle a little bit, outside of your heel, and down your fifth, right? That's kind of the course of it. It just kind of goes this way, right? Almost to the tip, right? It kind of ends somewhere around here. But anyways, the thing is, I know you probably can't see me, but I'm right here. If it hurts along the outside, what I would do, just to kind of help out with a self-assessment kind of a tool or technique, if it hurts somewhere around here, I'd go a little bit higher and just press there for maybe, 10, 15, 20 seconds. Just put a little pressure there. And as the seconds kind of tick by, maybe, 10, 15, 20 seconds, just keep it there. And if it starts to kind of bleed into that area, the pain, or the achiness, or the tightness feeling, whatever you want to call it, just kind of goes, that's the nerve. It's almost a slam dunk. It's probably the nerve being a little bit irritable. And if it's around the heel, what I would do is just slightly farther up from the heel on the outside, right here, because this is the course of it, right? So if you're concerned that it might be a little bit of a pain generator somewhere around here, or just you're not sure what it is, just go above the area, maybe an inch or two, put pressure on it, give it 15, 20 seconds, and then as the seconds tick by, and don't be too hard with the pressure, but don't be light either. This is like kind of a test, right? So if you press here and it starts to, give it, because it takes, nerves are weird, man. They, you press on Achilles tendon, and it's the Achilles tendon, it's going to be painful immediately. And don't get me wrong, if the nerve's irritable, like really super irritable, it'll be pretty painful pretty fast too. But if it's not as easily irritable, the nerve, if it's not like really consistent, put pressure on it for maybe, it has a delay in being a pain generator. There's a delay to it. It's not like, pressing on a ligament that hurts, pressing on a tendon that hurts, pressing on a muscle that just, strained or got tore, or, a joint that just, got compressed pretty bad and is irritated. It's not like that all the time. And so to really kind of help yourself kind of diagnose, there's a delay with how it responds to just simply having a little bit of pressure on it. And so my niece actually had a little bit of pain going down the outside of her foot and ankle here after she sprained her ankle. And I just asked her to put pressure like right around here. And sure enough, it started to kind of go into her foot. And it's, slam dunk is probably the nerve. And nerves like slack. So going back to what I would do, here it is. And I'm not, I don't advertise this stuff, but man, I gotta tell you, this stuff works. Kinesio tape, rock tape, TheraBand tape, you know, take your pick. The guy that had this revelation, I think, from God, to be honest, but just this stuff does fantastic. If you get the brown stuff, it just looks like a big, I don't know, like, looks like a Band-Aid, really, if you get the skin-toned one. But anyhow, doesn't look like it do anything. But I tell you, every time, man, it does a fantastic job. Anyways, so this is what I would do, right? And this is what I do for most people. The more your foot is kind of like this, that's why if you have a wedge of some sort, it's helpful for the girls. And for the guys, maybe just get a little bit of a heel lift. You know, firm but forgiving heel lift, not the gel stuff. Walk around in that. Do not run in that. That will cause all kinds of problems. Anyway, so if you look up the Sural Nerve, S-U-R-A-L, you'll see it traces just like this. What is this thing? There we go. So I just kind of lay down the first inch or two, but there we go, sorry. I lay down the first inch or two, and then I stretch out maybe a little over 50%. Just kind of trace the nerve, go to the back of the foot and heel here, right? That's one of them. And then the next one, let's kind of tack it down and just go up. There we go, we're on camera here. Go up the outside of your foot and ankle and lower leg, because that's how the nerve traces. Anyways, that's what I would do. And almost all the time, just make sure your foot is kind of not up like this. It's actually a little bit of plantar flexion, right? A little bit pointed as you put this stuff on, right? Anyway, that's what I do. And sometimes I'll even, if it helps out with one but doesn't go away,